Okay, let's scoot ahead. Ajax 0, Chelsea 3. This was a tough watch for your boy. You know how we feel about this Ajax side. And I don't think any of us are quite ready to just give up at this point. The stats in this one tell an interesting story, maybe two interesting stories. Chelsea, slight edge in possession, 53-47. Pass accuracy about even. Chelsea 81 to Ajax's 80. Passes completed, also fairly close. Take a closer look, though, and there are a few key stats that tell a more accurate story. Chelsea dominated in all four of these departments. Aerials won, 19-9. Crosses, more on that later, 19-6. Shots, 13-8. Shots on target, Chelsea wins that one too, 6-2. This was probably the most big sister, little sister matchup on the slate this past week. And while Ajax was good, Chelsea was better and a lot better where and when it mattered most. What plays stuck out to you early in this one?
I mean, in the first 7 minutes, Luchter has Hannah Hampton completely beaten. She has her dead to rights, and the shot hits the right post in the 7th minute. And, you know, we talk about it, sliding doors moments, whatever cliches we want to use. If that goes in, I think we're looking at a completely different match.
I mean, absolutely. Like, I think every other quarterfinals match ended 2-1. I think if Luchter buries that one, this is probably more of a 2-1 type match.
Yep.
You know, and since the goals are aggregated, that goal carries value into next week. So would have been valuable either way. I think there were 4 key moments that progressively took more and more air out of Ajax's sails. First, we didn't mention this on the show, found out a little bit later. No Sharita Spitza, which was going to be an issue. We talked on last week's show. About Kaylee DeSanders and needing to get a good DeSanders game. We love you, Kaylee, but that did not happen. The second, that Luchter chance that you mentioned that thunders off the post. The third moment, Lily Johannes' bummer of a yellow card at the 14th minute. Lily will now miss the second leg at Stamford Bridge. Absolutely devastating. We talked about that record-setting crowd, and that yellow sent a chill through the entire stadium. I think everybody knew what time it was at that point, and everybody's like, oh, just here we go. And the fourth and final, Lauren James, that quiet assassin, business as usual as some of the Ajax players, caught flag watching, but you called it. LJ was going to be a difference maker in this one. She seems like the only one who knew that she wasn't offside. Just kind of staying with it, tap, tap. And then VAR confirms 1-0 Chelsea. Really tough to overcome a start like that when just things start to slip progressively further and further away with each sort of bad break. Talked about sliding doors. That was 3 or 4 sliding doors in succession that just closed at the wrong time.
There's something to Lauren James's game, and we've talked about it a lot, how it doesn't look like she can outrun you, but somehow she's always ahead of you. It doesn't look like it's impossible to take the ball from her, but you can never take the ball from her. And in that moment, that smoothness, that calmness to her game, everybody on the pitch, her teammates thought she was offside. And, you know, the announcer called it out too. Credit to her. They always say, play to the whistle, play to the whistle. Anybody who played youth sports growing up, you always hear that. She did exactly that. But even if everybody was playing, she still probably would have been as smooth with it to make that finish, just the way she kind of dekes the keeper, gets to the right, and just tucks it away. I just have a question. And I know this is going to sound weird because of the incident she had in the World Cup where she stomped on a player from Nigeria and had the red card. So I'm going to couch it a little bit of a different way. Is Lauren James the calmest athlete in the world while play is going on in their sport?
Well, who's calmer? Let's see. I mean, I don't know. I just nicknamed her the quiet assassin. So that seems fitting that, I mean, she just has that kind of game. I don't know. Tracy McGrady, just harking back to 1990s NBA basketball.
I was going to throw Kawhi Leonard at you.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, she's Kawhi.
And we've already compared her, as everybody knows, Dino and I love basketball. We've compared her game to James Harden as like this crafts person who just like does everything right and like everything is the right motion. She is this combination, for anybody who likes basketball, of James Harden and Kawhi Leonard, where it's the mind-bending skill of James Harden, but then she delivers in big moments like Kawhi Leonard.
I'm glad we're having the Lauren James conversation because the thought absolutely ran through my mind. I didn't kind of include it in where I wanted to take the show, but now here we are.
Sure.
I think she's in the conversation for best player in the world for me. I think she came in number 6, somewhere in that neighborhood in the Guardian's most recent list. Definitely like top 8 or 9. Wasn't lower than 9. I feel like I was 6. But for me, it's just like, I don't know. If you give me a pick of anybody I'm not going too many picks before Lauren James comes off the board for me. I think she's absolutely in that best player in the world conversation. Unbelievable, still early 20s. And she had a moment a little bit later on Newskin's first goal, who was out of her mind also, by the way. LJ clearly in an offside position, but as the ball's approaching her, so slick, she runs back to still kind of pose a threat to the Ajax defense, knowing she can't touch it. Like, I think cognitively, she can't touch this ball. She was way offside. But she runs directly at the ball, kind of no looks, skips over it. And that's just enough to freeze a defender or two, which I think there was a couple that just kind of like took half a pause. I think Isa Cardinal was probably in there. Descenders, I think, was on the backside of that play. And it freezes you for just a split second. Girl right and gets on the end of it. Beautiful cross, smashed in. Newskin finishes. Now it's 2-0. And LJ is just manipulating the chessboard in a way that just doesn't seem fair. Like, she's just playing a different game. Like the regular game that everybody else is playing, she's already mastered it. She's playing a different game that just kind of puts her on an absolutely different level. That play was so smart, so high IQ that I'm just mesmerized watching. I'm just like, oh my God, and you know it was on purpose because she takes a direct line right at the ball.
I literally stood up in my living room and said, she wasn't in the play and she helped score the goal. In real time, with people, thousands of people standing around you screaming, she is the calm. I think she's the calmest athlete in the world while the ball's in play. I think she's even calmer than Kawhi, because that is, the presence of mind is just insane right there.
I'm going to throw Usain Bolt, calmest.
That's pretty good.
Might be on the level. Just cool as shit. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Last week, we talked about that Wrighton James Cannard combo, especially with regard to their ability to score and their ability to play make. And Shika Newskin was like, oh, word? Just turned 23 years old in her last two matches for the Blues, 4 goals, a 2-piece against Arsenal, a 2-piece against Ajax. So now, going against Chelsea, you have to game plan against these 4 players. Actually, throw Aaron Cuthbert in there. Now, these 5 players, you definitely have to have a game plan for, because on every single possession, all 5 are dangerous to hit the pass, bury the shot, hit the pass before the pass. I mean, it's just terrifying. I mean, those 5, so creative, so clinical. Having a game plan against them must be an absolute nightmare.
Yeah. And I mean, there are even more players to talk about. I know, like, the list goes on and on and on. They bring on Kat Macario later, and don't worry, buddy, she's just playing her way back into shape. Surely that won't be more dangerous for every opponent moving forward in the tournament, assuming they're able to finish the job in London. Yeah, man. I mean, I know you have some thoughts on this, and we're obviously in the quarterfinals of the tournament right now. Hard to not look at them and say, maybe the most dangerous team in the tournament?
I'm sorry, I should have gotten this person's name. Somebody commented either on Twitter or YouTube, kind of blanking on it, but you know who you are. Somebody mentioned that we made a big deal about the Chelsea injuries. Obviously, Sam Kerr, Millie Bright, Mia Fischel, the huge names that were injured. Somebody was making the case that the lineup that they ended up with was like the absolute optimal lineup, and I think, like, while they missed those players, there's something about the interplay between them that really, I don't know, there's just something about that set of players. Like, they kind of have every box checked.
Yeah.
I've kind of been of the opinion that this Chelsea side was like a smidge behind Lyon, who's maybe a couple smidges behind Barcelona. Mm-hmm. But now, like, you just look at this Chelsea attack, and then defensively, they were also really good.
Yeah.
I don't know that there's a defense left in the tournament that can hold this Chelsea team under 2 goals. And then last thing on the Blues, Emma Hayes nailed everything in this one. Lineups, subs, tactics, strategy. The longer the game wore on, the more this Chelsea side was able to separate from Ajax. The more they were able to, like, squeeze the life out of the game. And that's almost always a testament to really good coaching. Bringing on the likes of Kat Macario, who you mentioned, she gets the assist on Newskin's second goal. Ashley Lawrence, Yelena Jankovic, Sophie Ingle, Aggie Beaver-Jones, ABJ as she's referred to here at the ITC. Having that stable of difference makers on your bench, that doesn't hurt one bit either. Props to Emma Hayes and this Chelsea squad for turning in, I don't know, in my mind, the performance of the week.
Sure felt like it, because Ajax is not a bullshit team. Like, they have great players on there, and they pretty much held them down, and they kind of broke their spirit, it felt like. And not to criticize the mentality of Ajax, but like you pointed out, with those sliding doors just continuously slamming closed, it's hard for anybody to get up from that. But it takes the opponent to kind of break that will and convert their chances. And I will also just say, combination of credit to Emma Hayes and Chelsea's social media team. On Instagram Reels, Chelsea Women's Football Club posts a video of Emma Hayes riding a bicycle in Amsterdam. I don't know if it's before or after. I saw the post after the victory with the song by Queen, Bicycle, playing over her riding a bike. So Emma Hayes, she likes to ride her bicycle. She likes to ride her bike. And she also likes to win matches.
That she did. These two teams are going to run it back Wednesday, March 27th, 4 p.m. Eastern. Coming up, we're going to cover the first legs of the other three UEFA Women's Champions League quarterfinals matchups, including Lyon's come from behind win at Benfica, PSG's fending off of BK Häcken, and Bronze. We gave them all they could handle battle against defending champs Barcelona. We're also going to preview next week's second legs. So, like if you liked, and subscribe if you enjoyed talking women's football with your boys.
We didn't get to a ton of Ajax. Obviously, we talked about them a little bit. There's still a chance. Somebody's telling me there's a chance. So let's go see if the red and white can have some success out there in London. We'll see you then.